Today's episode is brought to you by Security Financial Management.
High earners, listen up.
If you make over $176,000 a year, the IRS forbids you to contribute directly to your Roth IRA. Why?
Well, Rob, that's because the Roth IRAs let you take all of your withdrawals, even the growth accumulated, completely tax-free.
AKA the IRS is making sure anyone that's making too much money can't just overload all their wealth into a Roth IRA. That essentially you can enjoy unlimited tax-free withdrawals for the rest of your life.
But what if I told you that there's a totally legal loophole to still get access to that tax-free retirement income? That's right. It's called a Backdoor Roth IRA.
Let's get to it with the question of the day. Today's question comes from Beck from Hudson, Alabama. Beck, what you got for us?
Hey guys, I love the Roth IRA for the obvious tax benefits, tax-free growth, and tax-free withdrawals. Unfortunately, I'm being told my income is too high to qualify. Is there another way I can still invest and get those same benefits?
Thank you, Beck. Great question. And yes, because of the tax advantages, the IRS does have income limitations for contributing to your Roth IRA. In 2025, if you're a single filer, your ability to contribute to a Roth IRA phases out and disappears completely once you start making $176,000. Now, if you're married and file jointly, you phase out completely ends when you hit $260K. Now, this income is based on your MAGI, or Modified Adjusted Gross Income.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, Rob. So all of that is entirely true, but I do also want to mention the traditional IRA, which is when we put money in pre-tax and we're taxed once we take out the money. Whereas your Roth IRA is your money that goes in after tax and comes out tax-free. So while the Roth does put a lot of limitations on it, anyone earning income regardless of amount can put into a traditional IRA. So the first step I would recommend for Brent would be take advantage and max out your traditional IRA contributions.
Now, there are combined max total contributions for traditional IRA and Roth IRA. In 2025, it's $7,000 if you're under the age of 50 and $8,000 if you're over the age of 50, which is called a catch-up contribution. Now, you can split that $7,000 between traditional and Roth IRA if you want, but those are the total and all limits combined. Now, bring it back to Bert, right, who can't invest in the Roth because he's over that limitation or he makes too much money, right? And that was the first step, right, is his only option was to invest in the traditional, which is step one.
Right.
So, Trevor, can you take us through step two? What's the next process?
Yeah, absolutely. So now, once vested in a traditional IRA, we would just need to convert that traditional IRA with something called a Backdoor Roth conversion. Really just another entry point to get those same tax advantages that Bert was originally looking for. And that's why we call it a Backdoor Roth conversion.
So it's kind of like the poor man's club, right? If you're making too much money, you can't get in the front, you got to come through the back, you got to sneak your way in there.
Money, this money, that profit will make me wallet fat.
That's it, Rob. And in fact, I'll give you another example.
Please.
So we actually recently had one of our clients who's a physician, earning $350,000 a year. As we just discussed, that's way over the Roth IRA income limitation. So here's what we did. We contributed $7,000 to a traditional IRA. Then, and this is the key here, we immediately converted that traditional IRA into a Roth IRA. The result, all that client had to do was pay ordinary income tax on that conversion, and that client is now building a tax-free retirement income stream every single year.
That's despite being, locked out of the Roth IRA for making too much money, right? Can you repeat that year after year? So can we execute this year after year after year to keep,
absolutely. And in fact, sometimes from a tax standpoint and having to incur that ordinary income, we do it on a regular scheduled year with clients. That way, we don't cause any massive tax implications for them.
I mean, tax-free withdrawals and growth in retirement is, if you're in the finance world, is like the
creme de la creme.
Yeah, the
right?
creme of the creme.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the power of knowing the rules of the game and using them to your advantage. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to know the rules, but just having somebody in your team who does.
100%. Well, I hope that helps, Bert. If you want to talk to Trevor or any of our certified financial planners here at SFM, we're going to leave a link in the description for you. And remember, folks, the secret to wealth is not what you earn. It's what you keep. Happy days, everybody.
This podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only and is not intended as personal financial advice. Before making any financial decision, please do your own research and consult a financial advisor as needed.